Picture this, will you? The sun's barely up in Charlotte, the dew's still clinging to the grass. And there I am, standing in my backyard. The only thing louder than the cicadas is my 10-year-old daughter, Lily, wheezing for air like she just sprinted a mile. Her oxygen tube line keeping her alive has been sliced right through. I look up, and who do I see? My own personal HOA nightmare, Karen, strolling off with a pair of garden shears, acting like she's the sheriff in town. I wish I could tell you this was a joke, but you know what I mean? Life rarely gives us a punchline that early in the morning. 5 minutes later, as I'm still wrapping my head around what just happened, the sky starts thundering, not with rain, but with 3 Black Hawk helicopters swooping in low enough to rattle the windows, making my quiet suburb look like a set for some over-the-top action flick. So buckle up, because you're not going to believe how wild this gets. Let me back up a sec. I'm Caleb Harper, 42, single dad, spent most of my life juggling desert deployments and supply chain headaches out of Fort Bragg. Life threw plenty at me, but none of it prepared me for Lily's rare lung condition. Imagine your body just forgetting to breathe and needing this beast of a machine humming day and night, pumping oxygen through a line that runs out to our patio Lily's favorite spot to sketch goofy cartoons. That tube, that's our lifeline, and apparently, to the folks running Meadow View Estates, it's a bigger crime than a rusted mailbox. Now, Meadow View's the kind of place that looks perfect if you just drive by. Lawns trimmed with military precision, mailboxes all in a row, and an HOA that guards community standards like it's a matter of national security. And at the helm is Deborah Walsh, though everyone calls her Karen, and she owns that title, believe me. Picture 5'8" of pure HOA tyranny, gravity-defying perm, a grin that says she'd call the cops on a cloud if it rained on her azaleas. We moved in 6 months ago, after Lily's last hospital scare. I figure a nice neighborhood might mean some peace. Big mistake. Karen made it her mission from day one, clipboard in hand, harping on my truck, my trash, and eventually Lily's oxygen line. To me, it blends into the yard. To her, it's a neon sign screaming lower property values. I tried being reasonable, showed her Lily's medical paperwork, explained the situation, even invited her to talk to the doc. She just looked at me, cold as ice, and said, if she's that sick, maybe she belongs indoors. Yeah, that happened. I'll admit, after 10 years in the Army, I thought I'd seen every kind of stubborn, but Karen redefined it. The next weeks, it was a barrage emails about supposed violations, fines for my grass, snide comments whispered to the neighbors, half of whom suddenly stopped waving. Lily noticed. Dad, why is everyone mad at us? She asked one night, her eyes all worried and wide. Broke my heart. It wasn't just about the rules anymore. Karen was out to make us pariahs. She started snapping photos of Lily's oxygen line like she was gathering evidence for a trial. Told the neighbors we were dragging down the street's value. Called emergency HOA meetings to complain about us, all while pretending to be concerned. Then one day, Lily came inside, clutching her sketch pad, and said, Mrs. Walsh says my tube's ugly. That was it for me. I realized this wasn't just HOA pettiness, it was personal. I started fighting back, but quietly installed a military-grade camera, kept every email, every note. My neighbor Tom, an ex-Marine, saw what was happening. Want to make a statement? He winked. I got some friends at Bragg who owe me. I laughed it off. That is, until the day Karen took it too far. See, the HOA sent a letter signed by Karen demanding I remove the oxygen line within 24 hours or face legal action, even property seizure, for a medical device. My hands shook as I read it. I tried one more time to reason with her, but she just tossed out, rules are rules, mister. Harper, you can't bend them here. I swear, it felt like trying to plead my case to a stone wall. The neighborhood turned colder. Karen had her minions snapping photos, posting in the local Facebook group about our ugly yard. One morning, a city inspector shows up because Karen called in a bogus fire hazard complaint. He looks at the setup, rolls his eyes, and mutters, she does this a lot. The stress was eating me alive. My boss at Bragg called me in about all the personal distractions. Lily got quieter, sketched less. She'd stare out the window, flinching whenever Karen walked by. Then came the final straw. I got home after a 12-hour shift to find a neon orange final warning on the door: remove the medical equipment or face eviction. I called Tom, barely keeping it together. He just said, "Keep your cameras rolling. You'll thank me." And then, that Saturday morning, like I said, picture this. Lily's in the backyard, and I hear her scream. The tube's sliced, she's gasping. I run, fumble the backup canister, hook it up. She comes back, thank God, but when I check the security feed, there's Karen, hoodie up, shears in hand, staring right into the camera before snipping Lily's line. I was seeing red. Just then, Tom calls, "Check the sky." Next thing I know, the Blackhawks roar overhead, rotors pounding the air. Tom's truck pulls up, a dozen camo-clad buddies piling out. The neighbors swarm out to see what's going on. Karen, still in her curlers, looks like she's seen a ghost. Tom's crew fans out, calm but firm, and Tom shouts, "We're here to make sure a soldier's family is safe." Karen's face goes whiter than my army undershirts. This was the tipping point. I had the camera footage Karen caught red-handed. Tom uploads it to a military family forum. Within hours, it's viral, then the news picks it up. The comments explode, people furious, strangers offering help, neighbors who'd shunned us showing up to apologize, some even bringing Lily toys and art supplies. The HOA calls an emergency meeting. For the first time, Karen's not in control. Mrs. Jenkins, a neighbor who'd always seemed timid, stands up and says, "We can't let someone who endangers a child lead us." Bob, the guy who'd once backed Karen, mutters an apology. Karen isn't even there. Resh resigned for personal reasons. But the damage is done. My lawyer from Fort Bragg files charges vandalism, endangering a minor. Karen's dragged to court, slapped with fines, and ordered to pay Lily's medical bills. She sells her house and vanishes. But you know, the real victory isn't just in the courtroom. The HOA rewrites the rules, calls it Lily's Law. No one can ever target a resident's medical needs again. Neighbors who'd ignored us now drop by with casseroles, and Lily sketches out in the sun, tube glinting, finally smiling again. That viral post? It's 1 million views. Even a senator tweets support. Tom and his Blackhawk crew get a local news feature, Blackhawk Heroes. The paper calls them. Looking back, I realize you don't win by fighting alone. Karen thought she could break us, but she didn't count on a dad who wouldn't give up, a friend with a wild plan, or a community that just needed a wake-up call. Maybe Karen's checking the sky for helicopters. Me, I'm just grateful to see Lily smiling under our old oak, breathing easy. So what do you think? Too much? Or just the right amount of crazy for suburbia? Drop a comment and tell me your wildest neighbor story. Ever had your own HOA tyrant? Smash that like, hit subscribe, and stick around. You won't want to miss the next one. And hey, let's keep talking about what's really right and wrong, because sometimes justice needs a little nudge and a lot of community.